Hello there, my name is Shannon and today I am doing a September wrap-up video. The reason why I am talking so low is because right next door it's my brother's room and he's asleep. And yeah, first I want to mention that Friday reads books that I mentioned that I was planning on finishing this week did not turn out the way I wanted because a lot of distractions and people and hanging out and having fun and eating cookies. And yeah, so these books I did not finish, so that's why they're not in my wrap-up if you were wondering. The first book I read in September was Snobs by Julian Fellows, and oh my god, I love that book. It was so different from any other book that I read because the narrator is a character in the book, but he's not the main character. He basically talks about the lives of others in the book. So yeah, so basically he just observes all these people, and especially this couple. He kind of witnessed how they fell in love and got married, and then he kind of witnessed how that marriage did not turn out so well. So yeah, you should really read that book. It's an adult fiction novel, and Julian Fellows is one of the creators or the creator of Downton Abbey. That book reads as if it were like a classic, but a modern classic. And oh my god, I just love that book. Go check it out if you have not yet read it. So the next book that I'm going to mention, I did a book review on it, and it is The 101 Dalmatians by Dodie Smith. I really like this book. I gave it 4 stars because it was actually a good book. It was really good. I liked it, and it kind of gave more information beyond the Disney movie of it, and it had like a good, oh my god, because if you think about it, Dodie's the one who created all the characters, and Disney just kind of made them come to life. So yeah, I really like this book. I am so happy it exists. I'm happy that Disney made the movies, and yes, I love it. I love it, as you probably know. And the next book I read this month, it is Children of the Dragon, Selected Tales of Vietnam by Sherry Garland. And oh my god, I love this book. It's actually like a kind of a picture book, and it was like kind of big and the words were huge, but you should check it out. It was really good. It had like 6 stories in it, and some of the stories were very memorable. Like there was one about some girl who princess, as you could say, and she is like looking out her window, and her dad doesn't want her to marry any guy. She wants her to marry the best guy ever. So she looks out the window and she sees this guy on a boat playing the flute, and she kind of falls in love by the melody he plays and falls in love with him, and then she wants to marry him. And then the guy in the boat finds out that she's a princess and it is forbidden, so he stops going to that side of the lake or whatever. And then the dad finds out about him and calls him in, and then the dad accepts him, and then the princess or whatever sees him, and she finds out that he's ugly, denies him, and then later on he dies. She regrets not marrying him because she ends up finding out that she loves him. And yeah, like oh my god, it like totally teaches kids that not to judge people by their appearance. And there's also one about a raven, and oh my god, so many good stories. You should check that book out. I love it, and it's a kid's book, so if you have a kid or have someone you like to read that is a child, you should read that book. It has good morals in there. So the next book I read is A Cat of a Different Color by Stephen Bjork, and oh my god, I love this book. I love the illustrations. One of my favorites. So this book is basically about this mayor who goes out of hand and basically destroys the whole town. Well, not really destroy. He just basically is putting like a bunch of dumb rules in here. And the funny thing is that in the beginning of the book they kind of voted for him because he's rich and he was giving out cool stuff, and I kind of think that that's how most voters are nowadays. And this cat comes along, or he was in the town but then he left and then he came back and found out that this town was going into ruin. He met this girl named Diana, and then he kind of fixes the town in some way. This book was really good. I felt like kids should read books like this, and I had, oh my god, just read it. So then after that I read The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien, and that was a pretty good fantasy book. I don't usually read fantasy books, but I really like that one. I like Bilbo Baggins and the 13 Dwarfs and Thor or Thior. I can't pronounce a lot of the fantasy names. I'll probably watch the movies, and of course I'll watch the Hobbit movie. That was a good book. I gave it 4 stars because at times I got confused. I didn't know what dwarf was who, and I'm bad with names, guys. I'm horrible. You probably already know this. I'm very bad with names. So then after that, I read Diary of a Wimpy Kid by Jeff Kenny, and this book, it's still funny. The thing that stood out to me in this book was the fact that they got a dog. Can you see the doggy? He like jumps and he's running away from him. I love the dog. The dog was so cute. It reminded me of my dog Rocky, and oh my god, that was cute. That's what stood out to me in this book. So yeah, this book was good. So then I decided to read Diary of a Wimpy Kid by Jeff Kenny. So it's the next book in the series. It's the 5th book, and this is probably the last Wimpy Kid book I'll read because we don't own the 6th book. So yeah, and I know this book is in horrible condition. That's what happens when you let little kids borrow it. These books were awesome. They have the same amount of humor in them. Greg is still that kid who follows what other people tell him and is very gullible and all that stuff, and I'm still waiting for him to grow up a little bit, but I still find it funny. I like these books. If I didn't like them, I wouldn't keep reading them. So yeah, okay, so that's the end of this video. I'm sorry if I sounded so boring. It's because I can talk that loud, and yeah, I'm usually this boring most of the time. Oh my god, I almost forgot. I finished The Hunchback of Neiman Marcus by Sonia Sones, and oh my god, I love that book. That book made me want to cry. It's about marriage, motherhood, and mayhem, and oh my god, that book was so I'm not a mother myself, but Sonia portrays that feeling, and it's kind of sad, and it's, I don't know, and it's all written in verse. Makes me want to write a verse novel. Just read The Hunchback of Neiman Marcus. I gave that book 5 stars. That book was really good. I loved it. It is a verse novel, so it doesn't take that long to read. And yeah, so time to do my TBR video. Bye.